Yo, you tired of the music industry keeping secrets from us? Me too. But yo, welcome back. This is Tai Tai. Today we're going to go through my secret sauce folder. I got some secret sauce for you. I've had a couple requests, and we're going to dive in, and I'm going to show you the little nuances that I add to my lead vocals and different things across my mixes. Let's hop in. All right, so we got a pretty simple setup here, just a lead stem, and we're going to go through the process. So what I'm talking about here with the secret sauce is this little folder right over here. And this has got all my juicy gems, everything that I'll add to tracks, and there's some gold in there. But let's go ahead and give it a listen real quick.
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
All right, so with this vocal here, basically it is just my outboard gear, no time-based effects, no delays, no reverbs, no nothing like that. And yeah, so it's sounding clean. There's definitely a little bit of background when it's soloed that I could go through and clean up. A lot of times when it's on the beat like that, you can't hear it, but it doesn't hurt to clean that out. But yeah, so with the sauce folder, bro, we got a bunch of different things. And I'm not going to go crazy in depth on like the reverbs and the delays. I've made videos on that, but it's the other stuff that I have in here that really, really makes a difference. But just to kind of get some vibes, some characteristics of how I go about it, I will add some delay to start. So let's go ahead and just start with an 1/8 note delay.
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
So we'll just kind of leave it like that. But we'll go ahead and cut off some of the highs and the lows, kind of get that a little more focused.
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water.
Just enough to bounce around back there. And then let's see here with some reverb. We'll go ahead and just do a little bit of plate.
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole.
So it already sounds pretty tasty with just those two things. But you know, you want to build on that, you want to grow on that. One thing that I do like doing is this plugin here from UAD called Sound City Studios. And what I'll do is set it up as remic instead of actually just reverb. So it's kind of just, it's a room reverb, but it's not a room reverb. Like you're picking up the room noise, but yeah, it's dope. And then I'll set it as group. And then you can get real in detail down here. You got other things, but you don't really have to dive into that a whole lot.
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
You see the body that gives, like with and without?
You're thinking you're better than me. I'm up in the clouds, you're lost in the crowd like where it was water.
It just really thickens it up and really kind of just gives that you're in the room with the person and just gives that like kind of like close romantic type relationship of just like somebody performing in front of you. It's dope. So for now, we good with the reverbs and the delays. Let's get to the actual juicy goodness of the folder. So one thing I will say too, I have individual buses for each. So delay bus, reverb bus, mod bus, and then a FX bus for everything. So that way, like if I'm getting everything where I want, and then I say I'm later on in the mix and I just want to push it a little bit harder, I'll do that. And I'll just raise up that fader and it's good to go. Same with like the effects bus. If I want to do a little bit of processing or like, you know, cut off some highs and lows at the end of the chain just to make sure everything is really controlled and where it needs to be, that's what I'll do. So then going into my modulation folder, this is where things get really cool. So the H3000, I love this plugin, especially if you're looking for something that's a little more 3D sounding. Sometimes, a lot of times I'll actually put that on my background vocals and it just kind of separates that. So what we'll do here, since we're just running the individual stem, is I'll go ahead and just put this on my bus. What I have it set up as is micro pitch slap, and basically this is just like the stock preset of that, so it's nothing too in detail going on, because there's a lot going on with this plugin. But this is something they've been using for decades with the hardware, and so listen to what it sounds like turned up.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost.
It's organized chaos. So what you want to do is just a little bit of it. And it's kind of hard to tell specifically with this one without a beat. But like if you're playing the beat with the if you're playing the beat with the vocals and you bring that in just a little bit, you can feel the separation. And it does. It just adds a lot of 3D character to it, and it's super dope.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
I mean, you can even kind of feel it right there. It almost kind of like cones it out in a sense. But moving on to the next one here, tone, sauce. I love it. Sometimes I'll put it on my individual track. Sometimes I will just run it through a send. But let's see here. So a lot of times just kind of add a different character. What I'll do is kind of really just mutilate it. Let's see.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making a porno. I'm talking her fast and drip like it's magic, look like a voodoo.
You know, you got flanger, which is the sour, chorus, which is sweet. So maybe we want a little bit of flange in there, just bump up a little bit, so kind of mangle it.
You thinking you better than me?
And it sounds crazy, right? So
you thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making a porno.
You don't want it to be super transparent that you're doing like pitch shifting, but you can add some grit and some character to it.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water.
It's about right there.
I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
So it does, like if you're looking for something where you want it to be a little more, in a sense, gritty, but not necessarily fully take away from the center of the vocal, throw that up there on the sides, maybe throw a doubler on there and just kind of blend in a section. At the same time, if you wanted to get real creative with it, you could throw it up here on the individual track.
I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making a porno. I'm talking her fast and just like it's magic, look like a voodoo. Don't need no static, effing in plastic, fuck around, I'll shoot you. When I get horny, I'm smashing your shoulder to live like ooh.
So say something like that, or you know, you have your lead that's clean, and then you throw one on the left and one on the right in individual tracks, pan it, and just mutilate it like that. Sounds super, super cool. It's not necessarily something I would do on this specific song, but I gotta show you the ins and outs. Not everything works on every track. Like that is something to keep in mind when it comes to mixing. Not everything is just cookie cutter. You know, it would be nice if it was, but that's what makes things unique, brings its own characteristics into it, and you can just get really creative. So then with these here, vibe, this is basically you can control the transient and then you can control the tonal. So you can really go kind of all over the place with this. So let's see here.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the move.
So with it really bumped up like that, you can see here as it was moving, it's only affecting certain things. So like with the transient, it's not affecting the whole thing.
You thinking you better than me?
Now
I'm
it
up in
is.
the clouds, you lost.
Now it is, but like when it's in the middle, it's probably affecting both, same as it wasn't affecting the tonal.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the.
So let's see here. We got reverb on both, right? So let's go reverb just on tonal, which would be basically the whole thing.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So it's kind of taking over everything. So then let's see what it's like on the transient.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So it's a little more faint because it's only affecting the transients. So then, you know, you can get a little blend of that. You can get real creative. But in this plugin, you have delays, dynamics, phasers, gate, reverse, reverb. Down here, you have tremolo and a chorus, which is basically the only two different things down here. But you can get super, super creative with that. And it's just a nice tweak. If you only want reverbs in certain ways and not necessarily automating everything, you could put it more on the transient and kind of make it bloom like that. But then moving on up here, I love choruses. So let's see, I activate both of these. A lot of times I will deactivate these because I track through this session also. This is kind of just my go-to template. So, all right, let's start with Studio D. And this is the thing. You can kind of make a blend of all of these. So, you know, we already got the eighth note, the plate, and the studio. Let's go ahead and add Studio D. All right, so just as it sits.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So we got to need a decent volume there. So let's go ahead and see which one we kind of like best.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
So I kind of like 1, 2, and 3, but if you want to get super saucy, hold in shift and you can click them all.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So if you want to add some saturation to that, some EQ, you can.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them. I'm talking her fast and drip like it's magic, look like a photo.
Ooh, I like the way that's sounding. It's a nice characteristic.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
You see the character that brings, bro? Let's bring that back and forth again.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
So what I kind of like to do with choruses and things is finding that balance where it's not sounding too separated, but it sounds like it comes up and just kind of folds everything out and makes it sound thicker. And it does. It'll change that characteristic. So then after that, it's another chorus, and it's called Brigade. And a lot of times what I'll try to do is blend the two.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them. I'm talking her fast and drip like it's magic, look like a photo. Don't need no static, effing in plastic, fuck around, I'll shoot you.
So this one kind of real mangled sounding, so let's take it out.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
And then one thing you can do is you can audition either one, see what you like best.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
Let's Studio D and then Brigade.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So I kind of like the vibe for this specific vocal with Studio D better, but let's see what they both sound like together and then maybe just do less of a percentage of the Brigade.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no more.
So you even see right there, it's turned way down, but pay attention when I bypass back and forth, the difference that you can feel it. It's not necessarily something that you can explain or really put a finger on, but like you can feel the difference.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the mole.
It's subtle, but it's beautiful. Absolutely love that. So then, moving on, if we wanted to do a doubler, everybody kind of knows how doubling works. But yeah, like you can use different ones. I recently got this one, but I ain't really dove into it yet. Basically, you can make up to 8 different harmonies for that. So we'll just go ahead and use the regular vocal or double or preset. I might have done some tweaks on that, but it works a lot of the time. So we'll go ahead and add that in.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making up on them.
Maybe a little less on that one.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water.
All right, so I'm liking how that's sounding. And then we have different things. I guess I made a separate one, so it looks like I got to make some tweaks. I'm telling you guys, the tweaks in the main go-to templates, they never stop. You got to get creative, and you're always going to be learning new things. If you're not learning, you're doing something wrong. But then we got a flanger down here. Let's go ahead and add the flange. I do like some flange. Sometimes I'll put it directly on, but, if you're hitting that mix knob, you can also just leave it at 100% and throw it in a send.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water.
So I might have this dialed back. Let me see. Yeah. So I'm thinking, let's run. Everybody knows the meta flanger. The air flanger, which comes free with Pro Tools, is fire.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like...
So that's a lot, but you can just put in a little bit of percentage.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo.
Just enough to add a little bit of kind of movement to it. The doubler wide is something that I'll do a lot of times to background vocals. Basically, it's a doubler from waves. I will turn off the center, the direct, sometimes, and then I will match it with an imager, and it just makes a different feel for the background vocals. It's super dope, but it's not something I would really ever put on a lead. And then with the pitch shift, kind of same thing going on that we did with the sauce, but it's definitely got some different feel to it. But I mean, if anybody's messing around with Waves plugins, they've probably at least demoed this, so we all know what that does. Like I said, it's kind of the same characteristic as and like I said, it's basically the same characteristic of the sauce. So we won't get too much into that one. But a lot of times what I'll do with that one, if you want that like chopped and screwed, Juice would do it in a lot of his songs. You could do the chipmunk voices. Just run a vocal bender or some type of pitch shift or formant, and then run a doubler. And then you can kind of copy these settings, put a little reverb on it if you'd like, a little bit of EQ to kind of tame down some of the high end. And then this one has got the direct signal pulled way, way down. So, I mean, I'm going on talking about this, so I might as well give a little example of what I'm talking about. So, let's see.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making up on them. I'm talking high fashion, drip like it's magic, look like a voodoo. Don't need no static, effing in plastic, fuck around, I'll shoot you. When I get horny, I'm slapping your shoulder, deliver like ooh. I'm dropping these moves, kitty so soon, home come my suit.
So say you wanted something like that in the background, so like just real faint.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was water. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, the fuck on the mole.
So, yeah, I mean, that's something you can get real cool with. After that, we have multiple different types of saturation. If you wanted to do, these are some APB things that I have. I got it set up as like, this is more of a transformer, black box for tube, tape saturation, fuzz. I will show you something with fuzz real quick, because we all have seen videos about saturation. I'm just kind of breaking it down, and you can. The point is to really create a template that you can move quick with, like audition things. I like that. I don't like that. Move on. So with the Cobra Fuzz, one thing I like doing here is you could kind of set it up like your own Spectre, where you got multi-band. All right, so let's just say we wanted to boost the high end here, kind of maybe get crazy with it.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them. I'm talking her fashion, drip like it's magic, look like a voodoo. Don't need no static, effing in plastic, fuck around, I'll shoot you. When I get horny, I'm smashing your shoulder, deliver like ooh. I'm driving these moves, kitty so swoon, home call my suture. Trip to the south side, gave him black eyes, got mob ties. Sit on my throne, I'm never too stoned, you're running on flat tires. When I get bored, I'm fucking a baddie, I get...
So like right in there, and then let's see, we'll back it off and just bring it back in.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
So yeah, you're getting an audible like gain. So you're definitely getting a bump in gain there, but pay attention to the high end. It's a little crispier.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them.
So now you could really push that and just make it crazy and then put in just a little percentage. There's tons of things you can do. And all right, so what else we got going on? Parallel compression. I don't think that's something we necessarily need to really go over, but I'll break down kind of what I have. I have different things in here, that way I can audition them and just keep moving. So I got the MV2, great, love it. This one here, it'll kind of bring out some clarity and some real dense mixes. Like, I used to get the comment all the time, I can't understand what you're saying. Well, that's kind of how I talk. Now, if you're not careful how you're mixing certain things, if it's maybe a little mumbly or like somebody's got a thicker accent, things like that, then certain things, you kind of want to bring out some clarity, make it intelligible or legible, whatever that word would be. But yeah, so I like the preset with the vocal send, the stressor. It just brings some clarity to it. If I want to do some parallel compression through the SSLE, I got that too. So then what I'll also do is I have the P-Comp flavor, which if I want to do some EQ, I can. If I want to add some distortion, some saturation, I'll use lo-fi, or I got Saturn 2 down here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and have everything off, and then we'll bring it all in.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them. I'm talking her fashion, drip like it's magic, look like a voodoo. Don't need no static, effing in plastic, fuck around, I'll shoot you.
And I will add this here real quick. So I have a quarter note delay, and then I have side chained a compressor, and basically it's just going to be a ducker. So I've made videos on that too. Go ahead and check those out if you don't know how to side chain a compressor, but you can do that with reverbs, delays, a lot of different things. So
you thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we making up on them.
So real quick, without that compressor.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo.
See, it's just chaos. It ain't no good. Add it back in.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole.
So one more time, I'm liking the flavor of that quarter note delay, so let's bypass everything.
You thinking you better than me? I'm up in the clouds, you lost in the crowd like where it was Waldo. I'm puffing on skunk, baby doing that thing, no fuck on no mole. I dress to impress, speak with my chest, baby, no photo. We sleep in a room, she loving my moves, we're making up on them.
So, yo, that's my secret sauce. A lot of things like that, engineers ain't gonna tell you. But, like, I don't make a cookie cutter copy and paste type template. You know, when it comes to tracking, I try to keep things pretty plain, especially I'm coming in through different types of analog gear. But when it comes to mixing, it come to adding sauce, like, yeah, I'm going to tweak all of those, right? You want your reverb delays and you want your reverb times and all that to change per song. It's not like one fits all. But the fact that I have them all sitting there in a folder and I can just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and create that big of a difference. Like if I wasn't talking to y'all, boom, 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 I could shift through it so much quicker. But like, I love that style of working, and I'm trying to think. It might have been Jesse Reyes that was talking about that, and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked, and like, it does. It really speeds things up to go through and create all of those for every song that you do one by one. Yeah, you can do that, but where's the fun in that? You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear, I want to do, I want to keep it moving. Move on to the next thing, move on to the next song. But yo, I hope this helps y'all. We're breaking down the secrets one by one, week after week, and I'm going to catch y'all next week. Leave me some questions, some comments, concerns down below. Like, share, subscribe. It really does help the channel, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.